Good morning, everybody, on this Tuesday, the 30th of June, in the year of the plague, 2020. The big news yesterday, and this is the rundown of what you need to know, was that the Supreme Court made two rulings, one on the Louisiana abortion law and one on the consumer watchdog group. So conservatives think it was 1-1. It was really 0-1-1, meaning the Louisiana case can be read in two different ways. And a lot of conservative critics of John Roberts who've hated him since the Obamacare decision, which was a brilliant decision, chose yesterday to renew their John Roberts is David Souter nonsense, even on the same day that he struck down the structure of the consumer agency as being unconstitutional. No, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. I always trouble remembering that. The Chief Justice, in not striking down the Louisiana law, reminded people that the controlling case law on abortion in the United States is Casey. Not Roe, it's Casey. Some people say Roe v. Wade, but it's not Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was gutted long ago and replaced by Casey. Casey controls. 5 years ago, the same law that was upheld yesterday was considered by a different Supreme Court, and they upheld the law. They struck down the Texas law limiting the ability of doctors to perform abortions if they did not have the right to visit a hospital nearby. Same law 5 years later, different court. Chief Justice, who voted to uphold the Texas law 5 years ago when the court struck it down, got the same law from Louisiana yesterday and voted to uphold it as the court and voted to strike it down as the court did. So he changed his position, and the reason he changed his position, the Texas law was unconstitutional. Yeah, guys, it's hard to do. This is why teaching con law is hard to do. The Texas law was, in John Roberts' opinion 5 years ago, unconstitutional. The Louisiana law, in John Roberts' view today, is constitutional. He explains his changed vote by virtue of the application of the doctrine of stare decisis, which is law should be settled. Now, he has an opinion in the famous Citizens United case on when you flip cases, when you jettison old precedents. I thought under that he might jettison this, but clearly it's not a big enough deal. Now, I know the pro-life people out there will say it's a big deal, every life counts. I understand that. But in constitutional terms, Roberts, in his concurring opinion, which controls, the four liberals don't matter. They can write 1,000 pages, it doesn't matter. What matters is what Roberts wrote. And what he wrote was, quote, neither party has asked us to reassess the constitutional validity of the Casey standard. I added the word Casey, but that's what he implied. So that the whole case comes down to this. The Chief Justice wrote in his concurring opinion, neither party has asked us to reassess the constitutional validity of the Casey standard. Somebody needs to ask the court to overrule Casey. A case must reach, the court does not reach out and grab doctrine. It does not overrule that which has not been argued. It requires a record before it that Casey should be overruled. I believe there are 5 clear votes to do that now. I think that the Chief Justice is begging some state legislature that is pro-life, to challenge Casey. Just challenge Casey. Ban abortion. And say we are doing so on the basis of Casey not being appropriate. Or ban abortion, say viability is now defined at 3 weeks. Do anything radical, pass it as a test case, and send it up to the court while these 5 justices are there. But Roberts said yesterday, don't send me a case that was decided under Casey 5 years ago without asking me to reverse Casey, because I'm not going to take a single. If we're going to rewrite this, we're going to rewrite it. That's the best interpretation. I know it doesn't, conservatives don't like it. Don't complain to me about Roberts until the end of the week, then I might complain with you. Our Lady of Guadalupe is coming. That's the most important case of the term. It's the free exercise case that tells religious organizations that they can hire who they want based on doctrine. It means, for example, a Catholic high school does not need to keep employed one of its faculty that divorces and remarries without permission of the church, without an annulment. That's what Our Lady of Guadalupe means. It means freedom for all churches, all faiths, to practice their religion, to exercise their religious rights. It's a big case. I think it's coming down Thursday. A couple of other big cases coming down Thursday, including Little Sisters of the Poor, including the Montana Little Blaine Amendment. I'll give you my assessment. I got asked yesterday by the Post to write an assessment of this case, and I said I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till the end of the week. I know people are upset with Roberts, but you got to see the whole picture before you decide how the term went. I was very pleased with the decision that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau cannot have immunity from control by the president. There is one executive branch. There's a strong majority for that proposition. Elizabeth Warren put on a happy face and said, don't worry, it's still there. Yeah, there's an agency still there, but the president who wins, controls it. Reelect Donald Trump, it won't be a problem. Put Joe Biden in, they'll bring business to a halt. That is the choice, by the way. Elect Donald Trump and the economy will recover. Elect his opponent, Joe Biden, and it will not. So what else happened yesterday? The biggest story internationally is what China's national security law means. Reading from the Wall Street Journal, China's legislature approved Tuesday a sweeping new law aimed at quashing threats to national security in Hong Kong, rejecting Western criticism that Beijing's effort will curb people's freedom. The legislation was passed by senior Chinese lawmakers, and it's going to have an enormous impact on freedom in Hong Kong. If you've got a business there, get out. If you've got a bank there, get out. It might take you a year, might take you 2 years, get out. Let me talk about some good news on the virus front. I personally believe the media is attempting to overplay the second outbreak in an effort to hurt Donald Trump. The numbers bear me up. Remember, at the height of the pandemic in May, America suffered 2,700 deaths. Yesterday, there were 338 deaths. On Sunday, there were 250. On Friday, there were 506. On Thursday, there were 599. On Wednesday, there were 644. What do you see? The number of deaths are declining in the United States, even as the number of cases skyrocket. Why is that? Doctors are better equipped at treating it. Younger people are getting it. So the reopening has slowed down, but it hasn't stopped. And the variant that we have, there's a story on which variant we have, is the one that's gotten more contagious. So the virus is even more contagious than it was 3 months ago, but it's killing fewer people, even as far more people get infected. Why? Because they're younger, stronger, less fragile, better treatment. Meanwhile, China has fast-tracked the coronavirus vaccine based on advanced genetic technology. Its military is using it. I don't know if it's going to work. If it works, we don't know if they'll give it to us. But that is very good news for the world. They also have 3 other candidates ready to begin trials. In Scotland, there is a T-cell coronavirus therapy, not a vaccine, that has been approved that is very innovative. They believe it's going to be very successful for coronavirus patients. And the Financial Times tells us about a coronavirus pill developed by a tiny biotech company. It's a long shot, EIDD 2801. But if it works, it's again a home run. What does all that mean? That means we've got a lot more cases with a lot more therapies and a lot fewer deaths. Don't understand. I'll do the story about the Russian bounty after the break. The news media only cares about one thing: defeating Donald Trump. So you've got to open your lens to a great deal more. By the way, the political analysis yesterday is Donald Trump's reelection got easier because the Supreme Court did not indicate to the masses that they're about to overturn Casey. So that's what I think they're about to do. Stay tuned, America.